Good morning, dear students. Welcome back. The today's class we discussed about the concept on population interaction in the chapter organism and population. This population interaction reveals about the how the organisms are interacted with one another for the purpose of food. So based on that interactions, we are having nearly about 6 interactions are there. How these interaction will be happens in the environment conditions or in the life of the living organisms. Based on these ideas, we are going to discuss about the population interactions, because there are different species are there. All species are coexist independently, but any resources is there. For that resources purposes, they must be interacted with one another. So this is the way we are going to say that the interaction between the organism is going to situated as an population interaction. See, the first point, what it suggested that the population of different species often interact in various ways in their habitats. This is the general concept. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗುರ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ಯಾಟ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಾಗ, ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಅಗರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾತಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ಥರನಾದಂಥ ಇಂಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ? ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಫುಡ್ ಪರ್ಪೋಸಸ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಶೆಲ್ಟರ್ ಪರ್ಪೋಸಸ್. ಇನ್ ಎನಿ ವೇ, ದ ಮೇಜರ್ ಕ್ರೈಟೇರಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ food. So based on that conditions, we are having a different types of the interactions. Just come, what are those different ways in their habitats? First one is that in this table they are mentioned as a first one species A, species B and name of interaction. Dear students, it's very simple, easiest for understanding. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ನಡಬರ್ಕ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ಇಂಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಯಾವ ಥರನಾದಂಥ ಇಂಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅದು? ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ 5 marks. So in that 5 marks you can explain any 5 in a short way. Okay, then come, they are mentioning here species A sign. What is that sign? Plus and minus is there and 0 is there. What are these 3 sign indicates? First I am going to give the idea about the signs. After we go for the name of interaction, then only you are going to get the what's going on in these aspects. So first in this one, the plus sign indicates that the organism gets the benefits. Organism gets the benefit means if interaction is going on between the two organisms like this, one organism is become a dominant and another organism is become a recessive. So means superior and inferior, strong or weak, like this. Which organism is become more strong? Obviously it going to win. Okay na? Then what this organism gets? It gets the benefits. So based on this idea, we know that the plus sign indicates that benefits. And what is that negative sign? Minus sign. Minus sign indicates that harmed or lose. Simple. Harm or lose. Minus sign indicates that harm. It become a harmed. Means it's the strong organism must be kill that organisms or it become injured. That condition is called as a harm, and if it is not get benefit, then it is called as a lose. Then what is that 0 sign indicates? The 0 sign indicates that it will be a neutral. Means it is not benefited, not lose, means neither benefited, not harmed. So this condition is called as a neutral conditions. So that's why, dear students, based on these signs, you easily know that which type of the interaction is going on in which way. It is totally a general concept. Must be think. Let us we start. See here, first they are going to give the name of the interaction mutualism. Mutualism means they are going to give the both the species get the benefited in mutualism. Both the species A and species B gets the benefited in mutualism. No one can be lose, no one can be harmed. Neither it become a neutral conditions. So that's way here mutualism, the sign indicates that plus plus. Next, minus minus. In which way that will be going on? Name of the interaction, competition. In between two organisms, if it is competing takes place, means then both the species not 100% get benefited. Why? Both the species are becoming strong. Due to that condition, here the sign will be coming as a negative negative. Means both the species are lose. Why? Means they are not becoming benefited. So in where? In competition. In this chart you must remember. Okay. Next, species A plus and another species B is the minus. What's going on here in these conditions? So that name of the interaction is called as a predation. What is that? Predation. Species A gets the benefited and species B gets the lose. In where? One is strong, one is becoming weak. Due to this condition, one species only gets the benefit, but another species not get the benefited. In where? In predation. And just think about next one, plus minus. What is that? Parasitism. Predation, parasitism, in that both the signs, both the species, in that one gets the benefit, other going to lose. So in both predation and parasitism, dear students, you must remember the word predation. Predation andre predators. Predators andre yavadu? So ಯಾವ ಜೀವಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಜೀವಿಯನ್ನು ಹಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೋ, ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೋ, ಆ ಜೀವಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಪ್ರಿಡೇಟರ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ kill that organisms. If it is kill this species, means this species become a predator. Agar predation nalli enagta hogutte? Obviously one species get the benefited, another species completely lose. It become a harmed. So that's why same condition is in this one only. Parasitism. Parasites. Ectoparasites and endoparasites. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಯಾವ ಬಾಡಿ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಏನು ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದಿ ಅನದರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫುಡ್, ಶೆಲ್ಟರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಯಾವುದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುಂತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೇನೂ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ the signs are indicated that plus minus in predation and parasitism. Then come another one. What is that? One species gets the benefit plus and another species completely neutral. Completely neutral means neither benefited nor harmed. So that's name of interaction is called as a commensalism. The commensalism, only one species gets the benefited, but another species completely become a neutral. So that type of the interaction is called as a commensalism. We are going to see the examples based on these concepts in later on. So what are those examples? First think about where the plus sign, where the minus, where the zero sign. And opposite of commensalism, which one? Amensalism. Nothing but one species completely, both the interaction is going on, but one species neither benefited not harmed, but another species become completely neutral. Like that interactions also is going on. When you going to get the examples idea, then you are getting the what's going on in the amensalism and commensalisms, because these are all four are very easiest concept. Why means we know that we are going to see the interaction takes place in the populations like this only. Those mutualism is there, competition is there, predation is there, parasitism is there, and rare interaction is going on between the commensalism and amensalism. We can discuss later about those concepts. Then come, by seeing this table, what you going to get? Just think about here. The mutualism and competition, see, these are becoming opposite. In this mutualism, both the species get the benefited. In the competition, both the species become a lose or neither harm, not benefited, like that. Okay, na? It's opposite. This is the one category. And think about the another category. What is that? Both the species gets the benefited, but eventually one gets the benefited, one become a lose. In both, what is that? Predation and parasitism. In predation and parasitism, one species get the benefited and the lose. I am telling this for the remembering concept, easiest way. What is that? In mutualism competition, both are opposite. Means mutualism both get benefited and competition both become lose. And in predation and parasitism, both the species, one species gets the benefited in both interaction and one become lose. And commensalism and amensalism, one get benefited under neutral and one get completely lose under become neutral. Means the one species is completely become here as a neutral component. But in the species A, one get benefits, one get lose in both commensalism and amensalism respectively. So this is the idea and about the interactions between the organism. Then we go for the first concept. What is that? Mutualism. You only going to get the idea of examples. Okay, mutualism means how it is. Simple. They are given. Both the species gets the benefited. Plus sign is there. Then what type of the examples are coming in the mutualisms? Then we go for the first concept. The first point, what is that? Mutualism. Mutualism meaning is that mutualistic. Mutualistic ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ಎರಡು mutually understanding ಆಗೋದು. Like that understanding is going on means that is the mutualism. So that's we call it is a condition of the in organisms, and understanding concept is going on between the husband and wives. That's the mutualistic relationship we called. ಸಹಬಾಳ್ವೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕರಿತಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೊಂದಾಣಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಹೋಗೋದು ಆ ಥರನದು. ಓಕೆ, ಕಮ್ ಟು ಹಿಯರ್. ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಬೋತ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲಿ beneficially, but association is obligatory, cannot live separately under normal conditions. See, what's this point will be suggested to you? In this interaction, both the species are mutually beneficial, but that association is obligatory. It must be there. If there is no associations, then both the species are not going to get the benefited. But in this type of the interaction, it must be a required. That required concept only called as a obligatory. In nature, it must be required. The association is obligatory. Cannot live. See the word. Cannot live separately under normal condition. If one species is going to form means both the species must be mutually benefited. Like that examples, what is that? You must be remember this word, what is that? Cannot live separately. Then only you are understanding what is the concept of mutualism. They are given only best example is there. What is that in mutualism? So that's we called as a lichens. You heard the name of the lichens. Those are present on the surface of the waters and also on the land surfaces in moist areas. Okay, small plants. The lichens represents intimate relationship between an fungus and algae. Just think about, there are two relationship is going on in the nature. In that nature, one is that fungi, another one is that algae. So those both are having a intimate relationship. How this intimate relationship means? This fungi almost all prepare the food for algae, and algae in turn gives the shelter. You must remember what is that shelter? That must be present, that must be habitat. The habitat provided by the algae, and this fungus, it gives the food to the algae. Just see which type of intimate relationship is going on. So like this type of the intimate relationship will going to get the use by the another new product that is called as a lichens. By combination of these two, there is the formation, there is the growth takes place. Which one is that? Lichens. Lichens easily get the food and easily get the shelter by the intimate relationship between the fungi and algae. This algae we are commonly called as a cyanobacteria. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು cyanobacteria ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಬ್ಲೂ ಗ್ರೀನ್ algae. That obviously it is in the color of the combination of the blue and green. That type of the algae are called as a cyanobacteria. ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋರಿ ಈ words. It will be coming for you. Okay. So like this one example is there, that is called as a intimate relationship. Here I am going to say the one word is that is called as a obligatory. What's that obligatory? Obligatory, it must be required, it must be happen in the nature under normal conditions. What's that happens? That's nothing but a fungi and algae intimate relationship. Whether it going to get the product, we don't know, but those must be have the coordinating with each other. ಸೊ ಈ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಯಾವ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ ಆ ಥರನಾದಂತಹ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಎದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ ರೀ? ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲಿಸಮ್. ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಬೋತ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟೆಡ್. ವಿಚ್ ಒನ್? ಫಂಗಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ದ shelter it, and another one is that algae, it prepare. Like that the shelter and food is coming to the both the species. In even in which condition also they must be get the benefited. This is the one examples. And another example I am going to give you, the most fascinating examples in the climatic condition, that is called as a pollination process. Dear students, pollination ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಈ ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಆಗಬೇಕಾತಂದರೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು? ಪರಾಗರೇಣು ಬೇಕು. In English we call it is a pollinator, and paragaspasha pollination. There is a flower is there. The flower want to bloom. It's in nature. It's common example. Then that must be required its partner. That partner is called as a pollinator. There is the butterflies are there, insects, dragonflies are there, birds are there. Water is also act like as an pollinator through the water, through the winds. These are all called as a pollinator or pollination agents. Okay, they must be required for blooming of that flower. Then it going to give the seeds, nectar. Just think about in this fascinating example what's going on means, just that insect is going to sit on the flowers. Then what's the going on beneficial between both the species? What insect getting, what flower getting? If insect starts to secrete that honey which is present in that flower, then insect gets the benefited for that nectar. ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಆ ನೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಆ ಮಕರಂದ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಆ ಹನಿ ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೋಬೇಕಾತಂದರೆ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟಿಗೆ ಏನು ಅದನ್ನು ತೊಗೋಬೇಕಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕುಂತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಫುಡ್. ಇನ್ ಟರ್ನ್ ದಟ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಬ್ಲೂಮಿಂಗ್, ಅರಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್. ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬ್ಲೂಮಿಂಗ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ it must be required, what is that? Its partner insect. Not only for the insects, you can take the birds, you can take the water, you can take the wind. There is so many examples for the pollinations are there, but those must be required for that flower. In turn, flower gives the nectar to that, or nectar or pollen seeds to that species. So this is the way, that's why it is called as a most fascinating examples. Innondu dear students, due to this technological way, smallest organisms like pollinators, birds, dragonfly birds, these are all becoming extinct. These are coming to the endangered conditions. Just think in future what's going on. If suppose pollinators are there, not there means there is no pollination process. If there is no pollination process, there is no formation of the seeds. If there is no formation of the seeds, no food. No food, then it is become a almost all deficiency in nutritional way to the peoples. Just think about how the nature interconnected with the smallest organism like honeybees to the man, human beings. Means we must be depend upon the one small insect also. That's the honeybee or dragonfly or anything aspects. Just think in this way. ಹೇಗೆ ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಮತ್ತು ಪರಾಗರೇಣು ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನಲ್ಲಿ ನೇಚರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಬಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲಿ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಒನ್. ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ algae and fungi doing work but benefited is goes to the lichens. This is the way you must be remember the examples which is takes place in the mutualism. Are you understood this point? Okay, then come. ಆ ಎರಡು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೋರಿ, ಐದರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆರ್ ದಟ್ ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ದೆನ್ ಕಮ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್. ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ವಿ ನೋ ದಟ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇವೆಂಚುಲಿ ಒನ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟೆಡ್, ಒನ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಲೂಸ್, ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. At here in the interactions of the organisms, the both the species are becoming loose, but when come that only we can go. See, the interaction occurs between two or more organisms when, you can concentrate this word, when the resources is limited. The interaction occurs between the two or more organisms when the resources is limited and it must be necessary for them, that must be necessary for them, then only the both the species are undergoes to the loss. Means ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. In that between two organisms the competition is going on. In that the condition is there means the source should be limited. ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫುಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೇ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಫುಡ್ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫುಡ್ ತಗೋರಿ, ಅದು ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಎರಡು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ, ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಫುಡ್, ಅಂದರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್. ಇನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ both the species are going to take 50-50 in the ratio of that food. Then you are going to say one is completely satisfied? Nothing, not two. Both the species are not satisfied. Based on that condition, if both the species are not satisfied means automatically what's coming? Both are become loose. Neither get benefited, not harmed. Best you know that obviously at the game, if you are going to think about the any games as a cricket or football, anything, if it is goes to draw, then what happens? ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಕಪ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ವಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. ಏನಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಡ್ರಾ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ಸೇಮ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ. ಬಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಟು ದ one gets the benefited, other gets the lose, means it's coming to the which categories? Predation and parasitism. Okay, then come here, what they going to give the example one, but must be remember in this one, the interaction occurs between two or more organisms when the resources is limited and it must be necessary for them. Based on this condition, they are going to give the one example. That example will be suggested by the scientist Gauss. That's why they are going to give the name Gauss's computation exclusive principle. Gauss's computation exclusive principle. What this principle states that? This principle states that the two closely related species competing for the same resources cannot coexist independently, and one will get eliminated eventually. From that competition. What's going on in this statement? Just think about. There are two closely related species are there. These two are competing for the same resources. Like that same resources they are competing, but that resource must be what's that? Limited. It's not more. If it is becoming more means they must be satisfied 100%. But that food must be limited. It is not satisfied to both the species that food. Okay, so based on same resources, aವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, cannot coexist independently because both are strong, both are dominant. They cannot coexist independently. So, and in that, the which one is inferior? In both the species, one will be a superior and another one is that inferior. That inferior one will get eliminated eventually. Means almost competition is going on, but one species must be a superior. But which species is eliminated, that species become a inferior. But whatever may be, both are not satisfied the 100%. Then only we are going to say them as a minus and minus, like this concept. So that's why this is called as a computation. It's a very simple statement by the Gauss. It will be gives one mark question for you. So statement, what is that statement? Gauss's competitive exclusive principle. The two closely related species competing for the same resources cannot coexist independently. They must be going to compete, but eventually one is eliminated. That eliminated species will called as a inferior species, whatever may be. Okay, then come in this computation, we are having one example. What is that example means? Just think about, there is the one species is there. That species is called as the Abingdon tortoise. ಆಮೆ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಆಮೆ, Abingdon tortoise ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ತುಂಬ ಚಿಕ್ಕದು ಆಮೆ. So the Abingdon tortoise, where these are present? These are present in Galapagos Islands. ಒಂದು ನಡುಗಡ್ಡೆ ದ್ವೀಪ, ಆ ದ್ವೀಪದ ಹೆಸರೇಂದರೆ ಗಾಲ್ಪೋಗಾಸ್ ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಲಿಯಾ. ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಗಾಲ್ಪೋಗಾಸ್ ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡು? ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಲಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಆ ದ್ವೀಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಆಮೆಗಳು ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಟ್, ದೀಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಎ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಗೋಟ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ದೇರ್. ದೋಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಗೋಟ್ಸ್. ಏನಂದರೆ ಸೊ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಆ ಕುರಿನ ಅಥವಾ ಆಡನ್ನು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಎ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಟ್. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಎರಡು ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸ್ಗಳು ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಬಟ್ ದಟ್ ಗೋಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈಡ್ by getting those Abingdon tortoise, because that only food for them, it's not satisfied to goat 100%. So due to these conditions, so this species also became extinct after goats were introduced. Extinct ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಶಿಸಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದರ ಸಂತತಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಆಗ ಸಂತತಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ the goats will be introduced there. If it is goats are not introduced there means the abingdon tortoise they must be becoming existing in today's generations, but we are not going to see those species in the Galapagos Islands in today's aspect. So due to the goats, the one species will become a harm to them, but those are becoming slowly it goes extinct conditions. So this is the best example. You must remember this type of the example also asked in the CET level. Which type of the interaction is going on in Australia in Galapagos Islands? What is that interaction? That interaction we must be given as a competition. It is an example for competition about the abingdon tortoise and goats. So this is the idea about the first two interactions. What is that? Mutualism and competition. In next class we go for the another interactions about the predation, parasitism, commensalism and amensalism. Okay dear students, I thought you got the today's interaction points about the mutualism and competition. These are very easiest. You must be write in general way by taking the remembering the points of the examples. That's very important. ನೀವು ಜನರಲಾಗಿ ಬರೆದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋರಿ, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಬರೀತಾ ಹೋಗಿ. ಓಕೆ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.